Before we get into that, though, I just saw that Conor McGregor posted a pretty lengthy statement 2 hours ago, and I'm just gonna summarize. He basically said that he talks like Donald Trump now. He says like, "Wow, what an awesome fight! It'll be an exciting trilogy. Not how I expected it to go." Like it's all like short statements followed by a bunch of motherfucking exclamation points. But he basically says that I've only fought for 40 seconds in the octagon in the past 3 years, so that was a lot of fun and I think it was a fascinating fight. He says that he was in such good shape that he chose not to use the stool. I think that's bullshit. I think he chose not to use the stool because his leg was fucking swelling and cramping up, and he knew if he
Yeah,
saw.
like that's
We
bullshit.
we all know why he didn't use the stool, but he said that that's what he gets because he was so focused on the.
He's full of stool.
He said that he's focused on the boxing match against Pac-Man, and that's what he gets for disrespecting the sport because there's so much to it. So the leg kicks are what did him in. But he straight says here that he will be boxing Manny Pacquiao,
No, he
and
won't. Ryan
and that him.
Garcia's boxing Manny Pacquiao. He ain't boxing Manny Pacquiao.
He also is saying that him and Dustin are going to have a trilogy bout for all the marbles.
That
This,
I believe, but the Manny fight, that's gone out the window because Ryan Garcia is fighting Manny in May.
What
I,
are the marbles?
His
I want to
balls.
read you guys. I want to read you guys exactly how he wrote this. Okay, he goes. He goes. Hats off! Exclamation point. A well fought fight by the Diamond! Exclamation point. One apiece now. With a trilogy for all the marbles! Exclamation point. Wow! Exclamation point. Exciting! Exclamation point.
Mm.
Not 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 a trilogy I was expecting, nor I was anticipating, but I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't meant to be. This is exactly how it was meant to be! Exclamation point. Buzzing! Exclamation point! Exclamation point. Like, bro, that's Trump's speech. That is Donald Trump talking right now.
That is Adderall talking, bro.
Oh, you could be right
That
about
that
that too.
that's cocaine talking.
That is something else, bro.
He
That
literally
is a
is.
dude who corners me in a party and tells me about a great business idea.
Yep. Wow. Hats off.
Um,
Exciting. Like, what the
exciting.
fuck?
Yeah, he uses words like wonderful too much.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's Connor on drugs. Nobody wants to see a Manny fight. Who the hell would want to see a Manny fight if you can't box up Poirier?
I mean, bro,
I
like,
mean, to
it's
be
just.
fair, Dustin's a pretty good boxer, but he's not on the
I,
level. We
I,
we knew that he wasn't gonna beat Manny if he fought him anyway. But the thing
I will.
is, he ain't gonna fight Manny.
I'll say this: his boxing looked better than Dustin's until the leg kicks made him a sitting duck. But it's like, bro, why can't you just focus on being the best MMA striker? Like,
because he's a pop star.
yeah,
And pop stars are different. I hate pop stars because
yeah,
they go do stuff for teeny boppers and the mass media instead of
yeah.
sticking to their niche. They cross
Instead of who
over
they are.
and move over to fucking teeny boppers. So he's on that type of shit where it's weird and he's getting out of his character and the balloon is deflated. You can't keep
Yeah.
getting your ass kicked and be the notorious Conor McGregor.
And that
So
was the
you're
most.
saying he's Drake, in a sense.
He thinks
No,
he's Drake, but it would be like if Drake kept dropping flops. If Drake had 4 flops in a row and was still like, I'm
exactly.
Drake. It's Drake who has fallen off and is still talking like he hasn't fallen off.
Mm,
It's Drake
Basically.
that ran into Pusha T and thought he could win.
No,
mm.
because that Drake still went and put out Scorpion, which I think it's fair to say most of us hated, but it was still #1 and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe this is his Scorpion phase, where like the real critics are just over it, are just like, I don't want to hear this crap. Like, but um, yeah, man, I think that the boxing closed his hips off a little bit, and so now his kicking isn't as fast or as nice. And I think that he has really, really confused himself. And it's like, just take a year off and train MMA. Don't just like, bro. When I heard that he was working with his little boxing coach and stuff, it's like, why are you so focused on boxing?
Mm.
Like, and you even saw Dustin and him wrestling and stuff like that. Like, he was doing fine.
He He fell into using those shoulder strikes as well. Like they became the hot thing that everyone talked about. He's like, all right, I got to appease the fans and I got to do the shoulder things again. It's like, dude, they don't always work. Cowboy has, and like this, not to be confused with me talking shit on Cowboy. Cowboy doesn't have a very good chin.
Yeah,
Dustin
well,
does. It's
I
like
mean,
that shit won't work on him. And you could see even when he came up with the high guard, his stance was more squared and he was more awkward. So when Dustin squared him up against the fence, which by the way I fucking called, he drowned. He didn't know what to do. And I think it was ironic that the kickboxer tried to box the boxer and the boxer out kickboxed the kickboxer.
that is true, but because the kickboxer is no longer kickboxer, the
Exactly.
kickboxer has been so focused on, dude. Think about this: the guy could have been the first ever Muhammad Ali of the sport of MMA. He really could have been
Who?
ours. But Connor, Connor could have been our sports Ali had he.
He could have been our sports Mayweather.
Ali
is the greatest for a different reason because of the people. He couldn't have been Ali. He could have been Mayweather.
Connor had the world by the balls.
Yeah, to be fair, I will give Trevor that, especially Ireland.
He could have been the spokesman for whatever he wanted to, and everyone would have listened. Like Connor could have done many things, and I think that like at his peak, he literally could have been MMA's first Ali. And if you don't want to say Ali, then let's say someone like a Tyson or like a giant, undeniable, worldwide star that fucking every teenager, male, boy loved for like so. He could have been something really.
That would definitely wasn't Ali.
So yes, that's true. He was. There was a lot of tension and conflict.
He was hated.
Conflict. I just mean like undeniably like when he fought there was nobody like him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Connor,
Mike Tyson.
Let's go Tyson. And I just feel like he's been so focused on boxing Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao.
But how much of that was skill? Taking him to, because Mike Tyson, it was knocking out. But Nate Diaz, I mean, we start to see it quick that he wasn't Mike Tyson. We start to see that fairly fast, that he wasn't dominating the sport. Like there were guys he started coming up against who gave him problems.
Well, you know what happened, I think, is that he basically like ran through everybody, even in the fight against Mendez, which I'm gonna say it because I think that this is fairly common news, but I mean, if you don't know, Mendez and Frankie Edgar were both offered that fight. Mm-hmm. Edgar said, "I will take the fight on short notice. I'm in training camp. I'm in good shape." Mendez said, "I'm on a boat right now, vacationing, but I'll take the fight if you give me $500,000." The UFC said, "All right." They chose Mendez, gave him $500,000 flat, knowing that Edgar was there waiting and Edgar was in shape. So there always is that kind of asterisk that
and Chad still gave him problems. It wasn't like Conor got through that fight like
Mendez was probably still motherfucking hungover on the day of that fight
and fucked him up for a whole round.
But I think in Conor's head, Conor was like, I beat the wrestler. I knocked out Jose Aldo with one punch, and he started smelling his own shit. He started being like, I am the man. And we saw that when he fought against Diaz, because he basically thought he was going to show up and touch Nate, and Nate was going to explode. And when Nate didn't, he fucking panicked. But
so that's the only reason I'm saying some of this is hype.
But
some of this ain't fucking, because that's not Mike Tyson either. If we're just breaking down what you're talking about, and I think we're learning right
Buster
now
Douglas fight, though,
but Buster Douglas, you could obviously call a fluke. Nate Diaz, you can't. Nate Diaz came in shape. Nate Diaz came out as a formidable opponent. Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog who nobody in the earth gave a chance. No one heard of before this fight. And
follow me here, though. Follow me. Nate actually had a ton of losses prior to that Michael Johnson fight. I mean, he got wrecked against fucking Rafael dos Anjos.
That's my point.
So Nate was a pretty big underdog. He obviously was no Buster Douglas underdog, and Nate beat him. But after Conor beat Nate in the rematch, he fought Eddie Alvarez, and that is still, if you ask me, arguably like the greatest MMA performance ever. Like I've never. such accurate punches. I mean, every time that Eddie like got in range, he got hit with pop, 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 four
Even the
perfect.
teep kicks as well. Like,
Every time that he stepped in the range, he got hurt for it. And Eddie became scared and cautious. And if you know Eddie Alvarez fight, that never happens. I mean,
no.
Gaethje,
Oh,
yeah.
bro, what he
So
did to Jose, I've never seen nobody do something like that before.
so
Like there
like
was so precision.
right.
And then you
So
see him in the back practicing it before. Dude, I was in the arena for that fight.
yeah,
You could hear a rat piss on cotton when that punch landed. It
never seen
went
anything like
dead
that. I was.
quiet.
Everybody looked around because we were all almost as if we were like, so did that actually happen? It was the first time, I swear to God, my fucking brain was like, who knocked out who? I know that Aldo was on the ground and Connor. One of my brain was like, wait, so are we sure we saw that? Like maybe you're thinking wrong. Like
Exactly. You needed to see the
Are you
replay.
high? Are you drunk?
I was well actually yeah, I guess I was probably a little drunk, but I was like sober and I had a moment where I was talking to my brain being like, are we sure we saw that? Like it's but so like what I'm trying to say is that like Connor has like there was a run that Connor was on it minus the Diaz fight that like I just wish that he would have stayed focused on MMA because we will never know what he could have done. I think it's almost kind of like if you want to make another comparison, Roy Jones Jr. after he started going up in weight, he was never able to go back down. He was never able to get that same like speed, agility, swagger even.
True.
Like as he got bigger, as he kept trying more and more, as he kept being like, I gotta be heavyweight champion too. Like he looked
And he went and got it. Then just when he came back down, he got knocked out.
Yeah. And he looked more and more
Repeatedly.
human though. Like and so I just maybe that is actually
I mean, we have like John Jones is on a run. Anderson Silva, GSP had a long run.
Exactly.
Conor hasn't done any of these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like it was hype, like because it was the hype without
The great way of hype.
accomplishments. It wasn't like fucking. It wasn't Anderson Silva running off 7 years. It wasn't John Jones still running off. Like we have examples of guys in MMA who made a real run. Like Conor knocked out 3 guys before he got knocked out. Before he got beat, or he knocked out 4 guys before he got beat.
I will say over here, like before the UFC, he was the king. Like in Cage Warriors, he was the guy. So to us over here, he's always been like the like high top level guy because he was, other than Joe Duffy, he was killing everyone that they put him in there with.
Right.
I've been going back and watching old Irish Joe Duffy because I'm gonna be writing an article on him. Look for it soon. Cheap plug. But
Conor did go get 2 different weight class titles, right?
First one to do it.
Yeah, he did it in Cage Warriors too. He did it in Cage Warriors, which
that is running it up.
Cage Warriors, but like, it's not an easy thing to do there either. And I basically I'm kind of like writing a eulogy for him because
Dude,
like
we may as well be. You look at that lightweight top 5.
I don't see him coming back. So that's
and I feel
that's
like
my whole point is that like he could have been like he could have been something supremely special. Who
does he beat at 155 right now? Give me a name.
Well, listen, I want to see him against Dustin again. I think that hopefully he will have enough common sense to pull his head out of his ass and not be so focused on boxing, and maybe things will go differently. But I still want to see him against Gaethje because, dude, a part of me thinks that maybe some of that pop is gone. Maybe some, because it just seems like there was. You know how in the fight against Cowboy, we were saying it just seemed like his whole body moved differently? I wasn't there live, but he didn't seem different from anybody else that night. That was just another guy. Like that was just fighter A and fighter B.
What
Usually
are you
when
talking
Conor
about
fight,
the other night? The
yeah,
Poirier fight?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't see that same like special like bro. He has this special aura to him, like just like how he moves his body.
He was catching
And
Gaethje. I mean,
he was catching Poirier,
Poirier. He
but
was doing his
it
Conor
wasn't the
shit.
same.
Just Poirier walked through it
And
and
then
kept.
when Poirier started bouncing it off of his shoulder, he was just like, haha, your best shot's gone. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like, I've
Yeah,
taken away your best weapon. You're fucked.
and the thing is, Connor's whole game has basically always been hiding the left, right?
That left
But
hand.
if you take away all your knees, kicks, elbows, whatever, and it's only this, and you're just trying to hide the left hand, it becomes a lot easier to see it fucking coming.
That
Like,
spinning heel kick was sloppy as shit. I've never seen him throw a kick that sloppy before in my
and
life.
that scares me. That's what scares me. I think that boxing is at fault for that. I think boxing is at fault for the fact that he probably hardly ever threw any teep kicks in sparring. And it showed because he never threw any teep kicks in this fight, which were arguably Connor's got the best teep kick, like, or used to have the best teep kick. The way that he like sticks those toes like into your ribs is like no
In
one can do
MMA,
it.
definitely does.
Right. Of course, I don't mean the
100%.
movie,
I know, I know.
but
He said, "Watch your mouth."
yeah,
He-
yeah, man.
I was gonna say,
Chill.
Jonathan Haggerty might disagree with you.
No, a lot of Muay Thai guys, yeah, but
I have a pretty good teeth kick.
yeah, Jamie too. But yeah, and when you see the spinning heel kick, bro, that scared me. I was like, what happened to your kicking game? Like that is not the same kicking game. So I don't know. Just I'm very worried for Connor, and I think that he's a little delusional. Maybe like you guys said, he's hopped up on something.
I think Connor had a very big run, but a very short run. So, in the history, I think it's going to be looked at as an underachievement, maybe for the potential of what could have been.
I think so.
But I don't know that that's proper. I think it just ran its course.
Yeah.
I think guys are better than him. You know what I mean? I don't think he's the best guy. Like,
Yeah.
even at his best right now, I don't think he's better than all the 155ers.
That
Like,
goes back to my question. Who at 155 right now in that top 5 does he beat? Not who do we want to see him against. Who does he beat?
exactly.
I don't
Even
think
at
he
his,
beats Oliveira. I don't think he
even
beats
at his
Gaethje.
best.
I don't want to
Chandler,
wait.
maybe.
I don't want to waste any more time rambling about Connor because I feel like, I'm saying, but
Yeah,
so I'll
it's
just
been like 20 minutes.
so yeah, it's crazy. So I'll just say that I do think that there are fights that I want to see against him, or him against the top
Yes.
5 still. I still want to see them. I still think that there's possibilities for him, but more than likely, this is the end. And goodbye, my friend.
Is Connor like, will
Now
Connor fight
the
like
end
on
is
a
here.
non-main event?
Mm-mm.
Um,
You must be
I-
out of your mind if you think that.
but 2 more losses, and how do they keep getting the main event?
Nate,
I
give
think
him
they
Nate.
can give him
Nate's
2
the
more.
only
He
one.
retires. I think he retires before he's on the second fight on the main
I think he
card.
throws himself off of that yacht and forgets how to swim before he takes anything less than a main event.
I think that they give him Nate next. If he beats Nate, then they do him and Poirier trilogy, and then he probably rides off into the sunset.
And that's where his career is stuck in.
Yep.
Because he
Agreed.
can't take non-main event fights.
Agreed.
So he has to either win or retire.
It's trilogies.
Like,
You gotta win, yeah.
You know, so
But yeah,
he has a couple of fights left. He has Nate and he has Poirier. And then, like, you know, that's what people will see as a trilogy fight where
Yeah.
it doesn't matter about rankings.
exactly.
Those two, I think their story's built. But everything else is, we got to figure this thing out.
I mean,
True.
you could give him Masvidal maybe, but that's
That's,
another.
yeah. And you're right about
But
that.
it's a bad idea for Connor.
Another guy with a name, who's not like a champion, but a
And-
name draw, and they both could sell some tickets. So yeah,
And
you
he's
could give
bigger
him
now,
Masvidal.
though, than Connor.